always think of two big things as far as mistakes that are more of just kind of the way that you carry yourself as a songwriter and or what I would call distractions. And so these distractions appear to make us better songwriters, but in the end, I think they really hurt us. And the first big distraction, and this sounds weird because I'm an instructor, is just too many tutorials. And I think there's times, and what I'm talking about is when you have an hour and it's like, I have an hour to write music. Let me watch a tutorial first and kind of get a couple of things. And then we watch another, and then another, and then another. And then we trail off into this video of a guy making songs out of random samples of fish in the ocean or something, which is intriguing. And there's something to grab from that. But we spend 45 minutes there. And then it's like, oh, now let me write songs for 10 or 12 minutes. And then we get to the end of the hour. I'm like, yeah, songwriting it wasn't that great today. I didn't make much progress. And so for me, I just really encourage people to create more than you consume. It's a phrase that's out there, but I feel like few people actually live by it. And you can tell the people that they've aimed to build up their skills as opposed to just take on this massive amount of knowledge. And again, I'm an instructor here locally. I have online courses and a YouTube channel, but I always encourage people, man, watch one video, get the great teaching and tutorial tips out of that, and then go try them, so spend 5 or 10 minutes watching that tutorial, watching Anthony or whatever it is and all your great tips, and then go try and make a song with that instead of I'm just going to watch hours of stuff and not actually even write a song. So that's definitely a big mistake that I see as far as the way we use our time. So
yeah, or even if you watch a video with this preconceived notion that, oh, I already know that,
sure,
it's
yeah,
maybe something that you haven't even really applied.
Yes.
I think it's such a great point that you're making, that taking in information and then putting it into practice. That's the way it's gonna stick and become a thing for you.
Yeah.
Even if you already know it, just in your mind, but you haven't actually used it. It's just such a huge difference. And you're right. There's just so many things to look at and view and consume. But you really want to make sure you're not just flying through all this content and then say, like the Matrix, just having it all downloaded and then you just know it now. But you actually have to, stop and apply everything that you're doing. It just makes it, it makes it a thing for you, where otherwise it's something that you just it's entertainment if you're not doing that.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
About it.
Yeah, and it's it takes it from being theirs, the person's that you're watching, to becoming your own, and then you can actually use it. It's in your tool belt now. So that's definitely big for me. The second big one that makes me chuckle as well is gear lusting, or just being obsessed with instruments, and just looking at magazines, looking at online, resources, or your local store. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be like, that is such a cool guitar. It's so pretty. It sounds awesome. But man, sometimes it's crazy how much time we can spend there, and then how much money we can spend there. And I've seen it happen so many times and I share this example pretty often, but I've seen guys who are like, oh, I'm going to get that new guitar. That's $2,000 and I'm going to sound amazing. And then they go get that new guitar. They still play the same G, C, D, E minor that they know. And the people around them don't even notice the difference. They're all pumped. Yeah, I got this new guitar. I paid $2,000 for it. I had to get a part-time job to pay for it. But it's man, no one can even tell the difference. And so for me, I'm going, man, that $2,000 or whatever you're going to spend on it, put that towards guitar lessons or just carving out time to grow. And a lot of times, we'll see an artist or a musician who we just love and want to emulate. And we think, if I get their instrument like John Mayer, if I get John Mayer's guitar, I will sound like John Mayer. When in reality, you're not falling in love with his guitar tone. You're falling in love with the skill and the way that he plays guitar. And there's no other way to get that. You can't purchase that other than through time and skill and through getting great training on it. And so I always encourage people, man, just rock what you've got and make great music with it and grow your skill. And then in time, when it's the right time, you can move up to that next step of instrument, whatever that is for you.
Yeah. And I think, especially when you get involved in recording process, you'll find that there are certain things that you can add that will just give you a totally different sound that you weren't able to get otherwise.
Yeah.
Especially with plugins and stuff like that, plugins that you can buy that you just wouldn't be able to do. So if every time you have an idea for this different kind of sound, or you learn about a different plugin that could do something that's wildly different from anything that you're able to do, those are probably the things that you want to be going after, as opposed to 5 different guitars that are going to give you a slightly different tone that nobody else is going to notice, and you're going to tweak it so much in your song anyway that but other things can be a lot more, can help your creativity a lot more. So start to think about it that way. But I totally get where it's funny, because those 2 things that you talked about are both similar in the way that it's like shiny object syndrome. Like, you want that next thing, watch that next video, buy the next thing. And it's almost a distraction that you don't realize that keeps you from actually doing the work. You feel like you're doing something, but really you're just like, squirrel.
And it's crazy, because I feel like it's what you're actually wanting out of that video or out of that new guitar is you're wanting, the skill, or the, just the mastery of the craft. And it's like, we're just avoiding the thing we actually want. And it's not I don't feel like it's a very popular subject or concept. Like, hey, what you're really wanting is skill. You're really wanting, like, just to be able to be one with that instrument or express yourself in a certain way. It's not, a new guitar is not going to do that for you. But man, it's like, if I can encourage people, I'm always just like, man, practice your skills, because if you have skills, you'll sound good on any guitar you play. You'll sound good on any, recording that you do. Doesn't matter what tools you use. People with skill will find the way to make it sound the way they want it to sound. So I always encourage people, work on those skills. That's your most valuable asset as a songwriter.
Yep. Yeah. And that's a good thing to have at the end of this video now, because it's, now that you've heard all this stuff, go download, or go work on GarageBand or another DAW and actually do it and see what it can do. If you're not already doing that kind of stuff, see what it can do and what it could add, as opposed to just saying, that sounds like a good idea for one day. And I also get that there are so many things, with there being so many things to try. You are going to have some stuff that's just going to be on the back burner, and that's fine too. But I think you have to figure out the priorities for what you want specifically with your music. Think about what you want like a year from now, 5 years from now, with your music, and what are the things that are going to get you there. Is that new guitar gonna, if you want to have an album finished in a year from now, is buying that new guitar going to contribute to that? And if not, then maybe you should be buying something else, or spending the money and the time on things that are going to get you that, if that's your ultimate goal. And even thinking further down the line, 5 or 10 years, what do you want? Like, in the decisions that you're making now should be leading towards that. So I think that's
really, really good.
Yeah,
it's really good, just because I feel like people, or us as artists and songwriters, because we're creatives, we don't think much long term. And so we're trying to get like the hack that's going to take us to the next place. And I'm like, well, really, like, you should be cultivating this underlying set of skills or gear, whatever it is that you need, like you're saying, to accomplish the goal that you want to be at in a few years from now, probably. But yeah, it's really, really good. Patience, grasshopper.
Yeah. And that's, it's part of it is the society we live in now. It's instant gratification. You can watch any video, you can do anything, you can have anything right now. So, but the trick is to not, to actually, pause and think about what it is you really want in the future. And that's how you figure out what you should be doing now. So where can people, find out more about you, get your courses and all that kind of?
Yeah, so obviously they can go to thesongwritingstudio.com and get linked to, I have a free mini course on GarageBand. I have a master course on GarageBand, and I'm actually uploading right now, today, as it so happens, a course called Build Your First Home Studio, where I walk through my whole setup and I want to make it as easy as possible for people to get the stuff that they need, get going with it, and not spend a bunch of money, but still have a very quality, effective, home studio. So there, and then also there's the YouTube channel. So you can look up the Songwriting Studio YouTube channel, and I'm posting 1 to 2 videos a week on usually recording or production type things, but I always try and keep it very accessible to someone who is in GarageBand or who's, going, this is a little new, a little intimidating to me. And we try to throw in a few laughs in there as well. So
awesome.
Songwritingstudio.com or YouTube channel.
Great. I'll put links for both of those below. All right, so I hope you found that information useful. If you did, I have a free chord and melody writing cheat sheet for you, which you can download by tapping on the screen here. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel to stay updated on our latest songwriting videos, you can tap our logo on the screen for that. And I'll also have links for that stuff below. Thanks for checking out this video. I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.